Early 20th century New York was a harsh new world for immigrants, especially those from Sicily. In the crowded streets, small gangs formed for protection and profit, preying on their own communities. Among these, the group that would become the Gambino family began as just one of many. Salvatore Toto d'Aquila, an early leader, built a network across Italian neighborhoods. Prohibition transformed the underworld, creating a lucrative black market and sparking violent competition. The Castellamarese War reshaped the mafia, leading to the formation of the Commission to regulate the families. After internal struggles, Vincent Mangano took control, ruling the family for 2 decades and dominating the Brooklyn docks. Their grip on the waterfront fueled their rise, siphoning wealth from unions and commerce. But power in the underworld is never secure. Albert Anastasia, head of Murder Inc., seized control after the Mangano brothers' mysterious deaths. With Anastasia's violent reign, the family entered a new, bloodier era. The days of quiet growth were over. Albert Anastasia's brutality made him a target, and in 1957 he was assassinated. His underboss, Carlo Gambino, took over, quiet, cunning and focused on wealth, not headlines. Gambino expanded into construction, unions and trucking, embedding the family in New York's economy. He kept a low profile, living modestly and avoiding law enforcement's gaze. Under his rule, the family thrived, amassing immense power and fortune. Upon his death in 1976, Gambino bypassed his underboss, naming Paul Castellano as successor. This decision split the family into white-collar and street factions, sowing seeds of internal conflict. The once stable empire now had a dangerous crack in its foundation. Ambition and resentment simmered, waiting for a spark. John Gotti, a streetwise captain, despised Castellano's leadership and craved the spotlight. After Della Croce's death, Gotti struck first. Castellano and his underboss were gunned down outside Sparks Steakhouse in 1985. Gotti's brazen coup made him boss and a media sensation, dubbed the Dapper Don and Teflon Don. He revelled in attention, holding court at the Ravenite Social Club, but this visibility drew relentless law enforcement scrutiny. The FBI bugged his hangouts and flipped his underboss, Sammy the Bull Gravano. Gravano's testimony sealed Gotti's fate. In 1992, Gotti was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. The flamboyant reign that began with violence ended in a courtroom, undone by betrayal and surveillance. Gotti's downfall marked the end of an era. The family's power was shattered. The Gambino empire was never the same. Gotti's conviction left the Gambino family leaderless and fractured. Attempts to rule from prison failed. Law enforcement pressure and internal strife took their toll. Federal indictments in the 1990s and 2000s crippled the organization, forcing it to downsize and operate in the shadows. Today, the family survives as a shadow of its former self, led by a secretive panel and focused on smaller rackets. The days of vast power and public spectacle are gone. The Gambino story is a cautionary tale of ambition, adaptation, and decline. Once kings of New York's underworld, they now exist mostly in whispers and legend. Their golden age has passed, leaving only a legacy and a warning. New York City in the early 20th century was a cauldron of ambition and desperation. Immigrants from Castellammare del Golfo in Sicily found power not through honest work, but in the shadows, through loyalty, violence and silence. This was the birth of the Bonanno crime family, a clan bound by blood and a shared Sicilian origin. Their story began in Brooklyn's gritty neighborhoods where they controlled streets, offered protection, and ran illegal rackets. Prohibition changed everything, turning small-time operations into a multi-million-dollar empire as they dominated the black market for alcohol. The Castellammarese War erupted in 1930, a bloody struggle against Joe Masseria's faction. The war's end saw the rise of the Commission, the Mafia's governing body, and the formal recognition of the five families. The Castellammarese crew, now led by Salvatore Maranzano, became one of them. But Maranzano's reign was brief, setting the stage for a new leader who would define the family's legacy. Out of violence and ambition, the Bonanno family emerged as a force in America's criminal underworld. Their territory was set, their power cemented, but the real legend was just beginning. After Maranzano's assassination, a young and cunning leader took charge, Joseph Bonanno, just 26. Bonanno was strategic, valuing loyalty and tradition, and built a tightly knit organization of fellow Sicilians. He avoided the spotlight, investing illicit profits into legitimate businesses and expanding the family's reach beyond New York. For over 30 years, Bonanno ruled with quiet authority, earning the nickname the Father. His influence stretched to Arizona, California, and Canada, envisioning a transnational empire. To outsiders, he was a businessman. To insiders, a powerful patriarch. But his rigid adherence to old ways became a weakness as the world changed. Bonanno's ambition and belief in his own invincibility would soon spark a conflict that threatened everything he built. The stage was set for the infamous Bonanno War. The family's greatest test was about to begin. The Bonanno family's power was built on classic mob rackets, illegal gambling, loan sharking, and labor racketeering. They controlled unions, extorted businesses, and infiltrated legitimate industries, making mob payments a cost of doing business. Drug trafficking, especially heroin, became a major source of profit, with international connections fueling the infamous Pizza Connection case. The family operated like a corporation, Bonanno at the top, with layers of underbosses, capos, and soldiers. This hierarchy insulated leadership from direct prosecution, allowing the empire to endure. Their criminal network was vast, disciplined, and profitable, but the higher they climbed, the more exposed they became. The seeds of their downfall were already sown. In the 1960s, Bonanno's ambition led him to plot against rival bosses, a move that backfired spectacularly. Betrayed by Joseph Colombo, Bonanno was declared a traitor and vanished, sparking chaos within the family. The commission installed Gaspar di Gregorio as boss, splitting the family into warring factions. The resulting Bonanno War turned Brooklyn streets into battlegrounds, pitting old allies against each other. The most infamous shootout on Troutman Street drew public and law enforcement scrutiny. Bonanno reappeared after 2 years, but his authority was shattered. Forced into retirement, he and his son retreated to Arizona. The war left the family weakened, divided, and vulnerable. Their prestige was gone, and rivals and the government closed in. The once mighty Bonannos were now seen as fractured and exposed. The code of silence was broken. Their golden era had ended. After the Bonanno War, the Bonanno family spiraled into decline. The final blow came from within. FBI agent Joseph Pistone, undercover as Donnie Brasco, infiltrated the family for 6 years. His evidence led to over 100 convictions, decimating the leadership and getting the Bonannos expelled from the commission. The 1980s and 90s brought relentless law enforcement pressure and the RICO Act, dismantling the family piece by piece. Even bosses like Joseph Massino turned government witness, shattering the old code. Today, the Bonanno family is a shadow of its former self, its power gone, its numbers depleted, and its legacy tarnished. The criminal empire Joe Bonanno built is now just a memory. Their story is a cautionary tale of ambition, betrayal, and the relentless reach of the law. From the shadows of Brooklyn to the heights of power, the Bonannos' rise and fall mirrors the fate of the American Mafia itself. The legend has faded, but the lessons remain. The year is 1958. New York's underworld thrives in smoky backrooms where men in sharp suits make deals over clinking glasses. Outside, Cadillacs gleam under neon lights. Joe Profaci rules the family, demanding loyalty and tribute. But ambition brews in the shadows. Joseph Colombo, a rising capo, watches the old guard's ways clash with the changing America. In this chaos, Colombo prepares to make his move. The stage is set for a seismic shift in New York's criminal world. The chessboard is ready. Colombo is about to play his hand. A new era is about to begin. By 1963, Joe Profaci is gone. The commission names Joseph Colombo as boss. He wants legitimacy, not just power. Colombo sees the FBI as the real threat. In 1970, he launches the Italian-American Civil Rights League. Publicly, the League fights stereotypes. Privately, it shields the mob. Colombo becomes a media sensation, but his high profile angers other bosses. He's breaking omertà. The spotlight is dangerous. The cost of fame in the underworld is about to become clear. June 28, 1971, Columbus Circle, Manhattan. Thousands gather for Colombo's rally. Colombo, the center of attention, moves confidently through the crowd. Suddenly, Jerome Johnson, posing as a photographer, shoots Colombo at point-blank range. Chaos erupts. Johnson is killed instantly by Colombo's bodyguard. The attack is public, brutal, and sends shockwaves through the Mafia. Colombo survives, but is left in a vegetative state for 7 years. The hit is widely believed to be orchestrated by rival mobsters, possibly Joey Gallo. The public nature of the shooting breaks all Mafia rules. Bosses aren't supposed to be hit in the open. Colombo's attempt to bring the Mafia into the light ends in tragedy. His family plunges into instability and violence. The era of blending crime with activism is over. The Colombo family faces a violent power vacuum. The consequences of Colombo's ambition are now irreversible. The family's fate is sealed by blood. After Colombo's fall, the family spirals into chaos. By the late 1980s, a brutal civil war erupts between factions loyal to Carmine Persico and Victor Orena. Brooklyn streets become battlegrounds, car bombs, shootings, and innocent casualties. The FBI intensifies its crackdown, wiretapping murder plots and betrayals. Gregory Scarpa, the Grim Reaper, leads Persico's enforcers, leaving a trail of bodies. Scarpa's double life as an FBI informant adds a layer of betrayal. The violence spills into public view, drawing outrage and law enforcement fury. The family is tearing itself apart, its power crumbling from within. The Colombo War is a spectacle of self-destruction. Innocents are caught in the crossfire. The Mafia's code is shattered. The organization bleeds out, weakened by its own hand. Scarpa's secrets will soon bring the final blow. The endgame is near. The key to the family's downfall is Scarpa's betrayal. He was an FBI informant all along. His double life is exposed during sweeping federal indictments. The code of silence is broken. Trust evaporates. Prosecutors use RICO laws and informant testimony to convict dozens of leaders. The Colombo family's inner workings and hypocrisy are laid bare in court. The leadership is decimated, dead or imprisoned for life. The internal war and federal assault prove fatal. The family cannibalizes itself, writing its own tragic end. Today, the Colombo name is a shadow, its power gone, its legacy a cautionary tale. Ambition, betrayal and violence destroyed what the FBI alone could not. Even the mightiest empires fall from within. The Colombo story is a warning. The rot inside is always the deadliest threat. In early 20th century New York, the Reina family, led by Gaetano Reina, controlled the ice distribution business, a vital resource before refrigeration. Reina's power was absolute until the Castellamarese War disrupted the underworld's balance. Betraying Joe Masseria, Reina sided with Salvatore Maranzano, a dangerous gamble. Masseria retaliated, and Reina was killed in 1930. Joseph Pinzolo replaced him, but was rejected by key members Galliano and Lucchese. They secretly supported Maranzano and orchestrated Pinzolo's removal. Galliano became the boss, marking the birth of the Lucchese crime family. After the war, Galliano was recognized as a head of one of New York's dominant criminal organizations. For 2 decades, he led with quiet authority, building a powerful empire. The Lucchese family emerged as a formidable force in organized crime. Their influence grew, setting the stage for future power struggles. The family's legacy was just beginning to unfold. In 1951, Tommy Lucchese succeeded Galliano, marking a peaceful power transition. Lucchese, known for diplomacy, expanded the family's influence through political and union corruption. He infiltrated legitimate industries, notably Manhattan's garment district, ensuring steady income. Lucchese's alliances, especially with the Gambino family, solidified their dominance. His leadership style fostered cooperation, leading to immense growth. Lucchese's era ended with his death in 1967, leaving a powerful legacy. His passing created a power vacuum, leading to internal strife. Carmine Tramonti became a caretaker boss, but a new aggressive generation loomed. The family's stability was about to be tested. Anthony Corallo's rise in the 1970s marked a return to old-school power. He profited from construction and waste unions, but attracted law enforcement's attention. Surveillance led to the Mafia Commission trial, convicting Corallo and others. With Corallo imprisoned, Vicamuso and Anthony Casso took over, ruling with paranoia and violence. Their reign was marked by internal terror and numerous murders. Amuso and Casso's erratic orders led to a wave of defections. High-ranking members cooperated with the government, crippling the family. The family's trust eroded, making them vulnerable. Amuso and Casso's capture marked the end of their brutal era. The Lucchese family faced a new reality, struggling to adapt. Their once dominant position was severely weakened. The aftermath of Amuso Casso's reign left the family in chaos. Leadership was shattered, with many members turning informant. The family struggled under constant FBI scrutiny, a shadow of its former self. Federal indictments targeted their remaining rackets, shrinking their influence. The code of silence was broken, cooperation with authorities became common. By 2025, the Lucchese family is a fraction of its peak, adapting to survive. Vic Amuso remains the official boss from prison, with Michael DeSantis handling operations. Their activities are smaller, focusing on traditional rackets. The family's golden age is a distant memory, their reign over. The Lucchese saga is a tale of adaptation, dominance and decline. Founded in the early 1900s by Giuseppe Morello and later dominated by Charles "Lucky" Luciano, the family became a cornerstone of organized crime in America. Vito Genovese seized power in the 1950s, giving the family its name and expanding its empire across gambling, extortion and racketeering. The Genovese family earned the nickname the Ivy League of Organized Crime, known for discipline, secrecy and their iron grip on labor unions. Relentless federal investigations and racketeering cases in the 1980s and beyond targeted the Genovese hierarchy, but their low-profile strategy helped them endure. Today, the Genovese family remains active but weakened, its power a shadow of its past. Yet its legacy as America's most secretive mafia clan still looms large. The Genovese crime family, the silent empire of the American Mafia.